yell about it and recommend it until like the day I die. I will like
Did you
stand
hear
by
that?
everyone watch the Lego movie, I swear to God. And
Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast, Conversations podcast. We're moving on, and we spent so much time doing this. So today I got a film senior, shall I say?
sadly, yeah,
Yes,
senior.
we're both seniors now, the veterans.
I'm an elderly man.
Yeah, we got Bret over here, third year film and moving image. Is that the full course name, if I'm not correct? Yeah, you see, I did my research as well. So, welcome back. How was your summer? How are you integrating it back to uni?
Pretty well, to be honest, because the beginning of third year for us has been a lot less hectic than the years beforehand.
Okay.
Because usually when, in the first year you make a film in like the first 5 weeks, and in the second year you make a film in like the first 6 weeks, and then this year it's like, oh, I only need to make one film this year.
Throughout the whole year.
Yeah. You only work on your graduation piece if that's kind of like what you want to do.
Announcement time.
Is that good? Yeah.
I loved it.
We got friends from the Yoga and Wellbeing Society got in reach with me, and they got something to share with you guys. And that is that Mental Health Awareness Day is on the 10th of October this year, and the Yoga and Wellbeing Society wants to reach out to men in our community. Wellbeing is all about being comfortable, healthy, and happy. And in the coming months, they are planning a program of events specifically for men to get involved, as well as getting across the message that sorry, I'm a foreigner. As well as getting across the message that it's okay not to be okay. And I think that's a really good cause. And so if you guys want to get involved, get in touch with the Society's Facebook group, just go on and search NUA SU Yoga Society. I'll put all the links down below and on the screen and everything. Yes. Note to editor. Get in contact with the Yoga Society on their Facebook group, and tell them what you would like to see and what would help you. So again, to remind you, 10th of October is the Mental Health Awareness Day, and it's okay not to be okay, guys. All lovely. Is it like also with your dissertation, like if you write 10,000 then you don't do anything?
No, you still have to do the dissertation. The majority of people do 5,000 word dissertations along with their like practical work.
Cool. Okay. Same, I chose 5,000 words. To be honest with you, I haven't started it yet.
Oh no, I haven't. I mean,
sorry, mom and dad, if you're watching.
No, I know, like. I know my question. I got some books from the library today.
Hey, that's progress.
That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it's just putting. I'm now in my structuring mode, Yeah. So like, I'm gonna write 300 words on this topic, and then I'm going to counter. What's the word? Argue it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna do this. Whatever.
Those words.
Yeah. Well, till January 11th. When is your deadline? Is it?
Ours is the same.
Same?
Yeah, it's around then. It's January the something.
Yeah. Well, no Christmas for us then.
No, probably not.
Well, actually, my Christmas is on the 7th of January because I'm an Orthodox Christian. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, because it's just difference in calendars. Because the Catholics made the Gregorian. No, I don't know exactly which calendar is which, but one is like the old school, and then they changed it to something else. Oh well, it just like.
So is your one the old school one?
Yeah.
Oh right, okay.
So the old school ones is by this modern standard one on the 7th of January.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even that, like, literally, even you and me won't have our Christmases. Yeah, but like, what are you doing for Christmas? Just writing Jesus.
Writing.
Oh man. So let's kind of rewind back a bit. So how did you hear about Norwich?
I'm actually from Norwich.
So you're born and raised
Well, yeah.
Norwichian.
I can't, yeah. Norfolkian.
Oh, okay, Norfolk. Cool.
I'm from like a tiny coastal town, like outside of Norwich. But Norwich has always kind of been like this city that you go to do city things. Because my village had like 8 houses and like a church that no one went to. That's pretty much it.
All right.
My primary school had like, I think it was 12 people in my year. Like, it was tiny.
That's pretty tiny.
It's so small. But so I already knew about Norwich, and they have a really good film course here. So I was like, I might as well move like not so far.
Yeah.
And just go up.
Did you apply to any other unis or just?
I did. I applied to 4 other unis, and they were all in London except for one that was in Scotland.
Okay.
But and then ended up coming here, obviously.
Yeah, this was my first choice as well.
Yeah, this was always my first choice. Because it was just like, because I obviously I didn't research any of the other courses before starting, so I don't know that much about them. But for film, this is like pretty much like one of the best ones.
Yeah.
So I was like, why?
It's a safe bet.
Yeah.
When was your love for film? Kind of how did that happen? Because like for example, like for me being a fine art student, I don't even remember it. I think my parents suggested to me like, "Oh, have you seen fine art?" And I was like, "What's that?" That kind of thing. It was like a year or so before I came here. I was like, "Oh, what's fine art?" And then I realized that's art.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's have you like just always watched movies, kind of thing?
Yeah, I think like I think it's safe to say that like I've always watched films because pretty much everyone's always watched films.
Yeah.
But and then I had a moment when I was 14 or 15, and at the time I think I wanted to go into the RAF, which is the Royal Air Force.
Right.
At the time I think I wanted to go there. So obviously I kind of veered in another direction. But it was when I was watching a film called Cloud Atlas, which is a film that it's a colossal film. It's like 3 hours long. It's completely ridiculous. It's got like 6 storylines and it's got all sorts going on. But it's not the greatest film ever. But when I watched that, I was like, wow, film can actually do an awful lot of things. And then I think that was kind of what at least made me interested in it.
Yeah.
So I think if I was to pinpoint like a moment, like an aha moment, then it would probably be that.
If I watched The Room before I got to uni, I would have. No, I'm kidding.
I'm not. I'd still be here if I watched The Room. I'd probably be here with more enthusiasm if I watched The Room earlier.
Every other scene, I did not hear. Oh man. Well, my previous guest Fahim from VFX is also like a big cinemaphile.
Cinephile?
Yeah.
I think
that's the word.
I think the technical term is cinephile, but I'm
that's
not
like
sure.
another thing. When do you say movie and when do you say a film? Because like, you know,
Are they different things?
well, I don't know. Like cinema is where you watch. Cinematography is one thing, right?
Yeah, cinematography is like the act of putting together like the look of the film, like kind of like the lighting and the camera lens choices and all of that stuff.
Because you have to like start everything from beginning. Because I'm a noob to this field, and I believe like the audience might not know as much of what film is. So please introduce us.
Basically, okay. So a cinematographer is the person that puts together like the whole look of the film. So the cinematography of a film is like if you're looking at it and you say anything about the composition of a shot or the lighting choices in a shot or the placement of something in that shot, you're saying something about the cinematography and the look.
Okay. But that's not the producer.
No.
Okay.
The producing side of the film is kind of more the logistics, which is like like your schedules and your money, because obviously film isn't a solo mission, not if you're making something of any scale. So and the producer is, which is actually what I want to do.
Okay. That was like going to be my next question. What kind of field are you in?
Yeah. I want to move on to be a producer.
Okay.
And basically what we do is all the logistics side of what the director does. So the director would come to a producer and say, look, this is my script, this is kind of like, this is what I want to do, like how can I make it happen? And then the producer is like, okay, well, this is how it's actually going to happen.
Okay.
And then this is the timescale we can do it in, these are the people that we can get, this is the money we can get, or etc. But the all of that is usually split between like different members of a producing team.
Okay.
So I want to be somewhere in that team. That's like the side of it that I'm really interested in.
Of course, depending on how big the budget is, how big the project is.
Yeah, of course.
Depends the size of the team and whatnot.
Yeah, because like obviously the films that I'm making in uni now only have one producer, because obviously there's like 6 people in the team. But like, if you're talking about something that has, I don't know, maybe a £5 million budget, then you're probably talking like a team of anywhere between maybe 15 and 20 producers.
Yeah. Just
because there's more to do, basically.
And it has to be in the time frame as well.
Yeah. The time frame's kind of a weird one, because that also depends on what the film is as well. But usually bigger films take generally like a long time usually. Yeah. If we're talking straight from like the first draft of the script to the release day, it can be decades. I mean, it can be. In most cases it's not, but sometimes like it can be decades.
Wow. Which
is a lot.
I think I wrote some questions to kind of help me guide this. Yeah. If I can read my own handwriting. So yeah, the course kind of, how does it run? As in
like, what do we actually do?
Yeah, so I assume like you learn how to use the cameras, the editing.
Yeah. Well,
scripts.
Most of that kind of changes as the years have gone on.
Okay.
Obviously in first year we all have our, inductions and everything to like your kind of blanket inductions to everything, to make sure you can like actually get equipment out, because at the time no one really knew what they wanted to specialize in. I certainly didn't, and so that was really cool to actually get a hands on, like, because I'd never had my hands on that level of equipment before. The only stuff that I'd played around with was like stuff my college had, and obviously it was nowhere near what this uni has. And then
so would you say equipment wise this uni is quite strong?
Yeah, it's pretty strong in terms of like non-private institutions. Then yeah, it's one of it's pretty strong, yeah. But obviously like there are places like the Met Film School in London where you have to pay like 16 grand a year, and of course they've got all the best stuff that there is. Yeah. But like we're not all like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But and then in second year it's virtually the same, but you're allowed to take more equipment out because you're just more responsible because you're a second year basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then third year, obviously still testing the waters with that one, but but basically we get to play with the big guns now.
Alright.
And
priority as well.
Yeah, which is going to be handy because that screwed me over in year 2, so I'm happy to screw the year 2s over now. And
oh, that's fair enough. Yeah.
And but yeah, we get to use like camera lenses that are like the size of my face now.
Jeez.
Some of them are ridiculous.
Yeah. How important are the lenses when shooting a film?
I think it depends on the film, and it depends on the stylistic choices that you're making.
Yeah.
But I think that in general they should be very important.
Yeah.
I think if you want to make something that's of like a high caliber and you want to make something where every shot has a lot of obvious choices in it, and like if you're watching a film and you're thinking like a lot's been thought about, then that will come naturally through the use of lenses, but that's all in part of the cinematography, which is like it literally is like the whole look of the film. It's like the technical side of the director will say, this is what I want, and then that's literally all directors do. They're just like, this is what I want, I need everyone else to make this happen.
I had a dream.
No, literally. Some of them are down to earth, but some of them really aren't. And so the lens choice is usually very important. But again, it depends on the project, because I've seen like amazing films that have only been shot on an iPhone. So like,
I mean, I assume you can like have like a pretty much like a narrative just from lenses.
You can. I'm sure that there are many experimental pieces that have done stuff like that, and I find stuff like that fascinating, because it's something different. But like the choice of lens can give like a shot a completely different feel. So like if you're trying to convey that a character is, I don't know, feeling trapped in like a certain part of your narrative, whatever it may be, then the lens choice could give the shot like a completely different feel, and like the way you set it up would just naturally be like you would have the knowledge to actually convey that emotion through like a technical choice like that. I think that's fascinating.
I mean, I recently got into photography and digital world, I guess. I was always kind of a caveman, if you will. And so like I got into photography like a few weeks before the handing of 2A, BA 2A, and I was like, Jesus, why am I doing this? Staying all night just looking at all these cameras and all these functions and all these lenses.
It's a lot to take
fixed
in.
in primes and aperture and focal point and different editing programs and damn.
There's an awful lot out there.
So what editing software do you use?
I've always been an Adobe boy. So like
I see.
I love Adobe. I always have, and I so that means like because I have the Adobe Creative Cloud. Because like you get a special price as a student, which makes it way worth it.
I got it for my birthday, so like
that's handy.
Not joined the gang.
I really like it. Mostly because it's just what I've always used, if I'm honest. Because like there's a lot of people on my course that swear by Final Cut Pro and all of this stuff, and I just think as long as whatever software you're using makes you happy, then just go for it. Because but for me personally, I've always used Adobe, so I'm gonna stick with it.
I mean, the only like editing background that I had was on iMovie, so I was like, when I noticed
you can still make something great.
You could, but like when I wanted to like wanted to like color grade, for example, I was like, hold on a sec, like iMovie can't do this. So I was like, since I got a Mac, I was like, what should I do? And I just torrented Premiere. It wasn't like Pro X, it was Pros, like I don't know what generation. But I don't know. The thing about like the Premiere just looks so, like medically clean and flat to me.
Yeah, it does. And then it's got like a very like clinical
Yeah.
sense to it.
Yes.
It's very like mechanical and grey, and it's not particularly interesting.
Yeah, so like, where do I find this? I mean, if I spent more time and like, spend time researching and editing on it, I guess I would get used to it as well. It's just out of convenience, I guess, on the Final Cut. Damn, alright. I was about to say Premiere, like almost like that doesn't work.
No, I think when you first look at Premiere Pro, it can look very, because everything is virtually the same color.
Yeah.
But I actually find that kind of handy because it means that literally all of my focus is on what I'm editing.
Yeah.
So like I'm not really, because like if you go into like the like all the settings and everything in Premiere, you can like change the colors and everything like if you want to, but I think you can. They might have taken that away. I don't know. But like
hashtag bring the colors back.
Yeah, bring the colors back. I'm mad about it. But I kind of like the cleanness of it. But it can make it hard to navigate it sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you can just go the help bar and just search for something.
To be fair, I always think that like you can teach yourself so easily on software like that now, because when you have something like YouTube that is literally stocked full of however to do literally anything on virtually any software.
Yeah.
And then I just think like most of the time I can just watch a 4-minute video on something and I'm like, oh, now I have to do that now.
Well, that's one thing that happened to me as well. Because back in year 0, we had fine art and graphic design together, and we had one workshop where we had to like learn how to use Illustrator. And for the graphic designers, they knew that thing like from back of their mind. And like, all right, I was listening, focusing to the fullest, and like do the same thing, copy, do exactly the same thing that the tutor did, and my friend who was a graphic designer next to me, and I get completely different outcome. And I was like, am I that stupid for this? And then at the end, last year, I went to the library, found this 40-minute long video on how to use Illustrator, and taught myself like the basics.
Yeah, exactly.
At least. So like I can do something, and then kind of put you, then you ask yourself, oh, is this education that I'm paying here, worth it? But then at the end of the day, it's like, well, it kind of is, because I wouldn't have ever had an access to Illustrator before, having the Creative Cloud or something like that. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, it is worth it, because we do have like so many workshops and this fancy equipment. Hello. Thank you. But yeah,
I've always thought that I've never really had much of a question in my mind about whether or not it's been like worth it or anything. I've always thought that because I think the main reason why you come to uni to study and like pretty much, I think this would expand to any artistic subject, but specifically film, is it was mostly to work on my collaboration skills more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because like film is such a huge industry that if you're actually going into like the mainstream industry, then you're never going to be working by yourself, and you need to kind of,
you'll always rely on someone. Yeah,
like you need to learn to work with others, basically. Yeah. Which some people on my course still don't know how to do, but I could have taught myself all of this stuff at home. Like I could have, but I think it's really nice to get those connections more than anything else.
Definitely.
Especially in an industry like that. Like you never know whenever someone's gonna come in handy.
Yeah.
And plus it's just nice to develop those skills and do it in a place where it's okay to mess up as well. Because I think anyone that comes to...
It's a safe place, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's also like a supportive network as well. Like if you do mess up on something, then you're gonna have your course team and whoever that completely understands what you're going through, because obviously they've all been there before, because chances are it's something that everyone messes up on.
Yeah. Plus the experience and all that.
Yeah, and it's better to do like that and gain that experience at university rather than do that when you're being paid and then get fired and then all of a sudden you're not going to get any more jobs.
Very
so
much.
I think it's better to make that mistake here,
Yeah.
whatever that mistake may be.
I just remembered in second year there's the cross-course collaborations.
Oh yeah.
For fine art, we collaborated with VFX and I think not film. Was
No,
it?
we collaborated with
Who did you collaborate with?
fashion, communication, and photography.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
What was your project?
What was our project? That was ages ago now. I can't remember what the actual brief itself was, but we kind of had to make like a campaign.
Okay.
And I remember it being extremely loosely defined, whatever the brief was, because it was kind of very much a go do something.
Yeah.
And
Same
then,
on this front as well.
yeah, and then when we were, because obviously that's photography and film are two huge courses.
Yeah.
There's like 60 people on film. I think it's probably one of the biggest courses. I think. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
I think there's like 60 as well in fine art.
Yeah, and I think
no graphic
fine
design.
art- graphic design's a big
They
one.
got loads of
Yeah.
those guys.
And
Okay.
so you've got film and photography, which are both big courses, and then you've got fashion communication, who is like one of the smaller courses.
Yeah.
So that's like a way more niche, because in film you've got loads of people that are specializing in different things. In fashion and communication, you've kind of got fashion communication people.
Yeah.
And obviously I still barely know anything about it, to be perfectly honest. But it was still really interesting to work with them. And we did kind of what did we do? It was based around social realism, and we were kind of critiquing like over expensive brands
Okay.
by changing their names and kind of like trashing them a little bit. So it was a lot of fun, but we definitely threw it together at the last minute because we were all sat there, because how long was it? It was like 2 weeks or something. It wasn't very long.
Yeah, it was like between the two projects.
Yeah.
No space. Yeah.
Because we had at the beginning of second year we had a documentary unit, and then we had the collaboration unit, and then we had like our 2-year final project unit, and and then we had advert at the end. Oh yeah.
The memory's coming back.
It's been a long summer.
Tell me about it.
And I think the collaboration unit was like maybe 2.5 weeks or something like that. It was like 16 days or something. And I remember all of us sat there. There were like 3 fashion communication students who had no idea how to talk to anyone. We had the film people that were only talking to the film people, and the photography people only talking to the photography people, which is completely like against the point of the whole thing. And I know that like all we were given were like 3 different like themes that we could choose from, and then basically from there we could just run off with it.
Yeah.
And basically no one had any ideas whatsoever, and we spent virtually like the first week just brainstorming, and it got to the end of the first week and we were like, right, we need to
Actually started doing something.
yeah, like we should do something soon.
So did you have to like make a video of that?
It was a lot of mixed stuff. We
Okay.
did the fashion communication students did like they designed kind of like the logos and everything, and that we were using, and because obviously they knew more about the fashion brands that we were critiquing, so they did that side of it, and they were more like the production designers of the photography shoots and the film shoots. And then we did, because part of the brief was that we had to have at least a minute of footage. It had to be like around a minute of some form of moving image. And ours was kind of a hodgepodge. We had like a load of short clips of like hooded people like slapping the logos on top of road signs, which I feel like we shouldn't have done, but we did it. And
hooligans.
Yeah. And then we had another bigger shoot that was kind of more of like an advert, but it was like ridiculous over the top
in a way.
Yeah, it was really. And then on top of that, we had these glitch animations that I made. I was the only one that had any visual effects experience, so I made them. And
well done, you.
Yeah. They weren't that great. I did each of them in like 15 minutes. I didn't have very long.
Jeez.
So I did one of those for each of the logos, and then we had photography on top of that, and then there was and then we had to upload it all to an Instagram account. So like the final thing that we presented was like an actual like Instagram account.
Oh, that's why it has to be a minute long.
Yeah, so because it had to fit into like the Instagram 1 minute limit.
And the format, I assume, as well.
Yeah, like we had to think about the format a lot because the actual layout of it, we had to get the order that we were uploading stuff really correct, because if one of them was off, then the entire feed was off.
Oh.
And it took like quite a while to figure it out.
Like a cool twist to it.
Yeah, I think it was a really cool idea to do it on Instagram. I think they did it like that the year before, because I think they were collaborating with the same people for the year before us. And I think that aspect of it was really cool, because I'd never done anything like that before. I've never done any social media stuff, so that was really fun. But but yeah, it was just the group was difficult to work with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the same story with me.
What did you actually have to do?
We collaborated with VFX, and our thing has to be like in the 50s theme of like, you know, the whole kind of Cold War nuclear era type of stuff, like a public announcement. Yeah, that was a public announcement of some sort. And so we came up with the idea to be a public announcement about global warming. And so we had like few scenes of how like the sun is so hot, like it burns you or something. So we literally like drew a stick figure on paper and set it on fire. It's like you go outside and there's massive flash, and then boom, you're burning paper. Yeah. Then there was another scene where because of the water pollutions, we actually went to the market to buy a fish. And then on the way as well, we like got like McDonald's, and so all the trash we would like stick it into the fish.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I mean, sorry, all vegetarian, vegan friends. Don't dislike the video, please. But like, you know, like we were kind of taking a piss, I guess. Yeah. But it's like, you know, we got this fish full of rubbish, put it into the oven, and we take it out, and it's like McDonald's. So you know, you get fries and a Big Mac or something like that. Yeah. But the whole kind of collaboration and the idea storming, I was the DOP, director of photography. Yes, yeah. And so, you know, I borrowed my friend's what do you call it, stabilizer thing. So I was feeling all fancy, like, oh, check me out. But then the people who were the directors kind of went too imaginary and too kind of literal and too metaphorical, or just, you know, wanted, oh, let's shoot this from, you know, let's just shoot this, let's shoot this, let's shoot this. I was like, yeah, but you need to kind of make that nice and, you know, integratable and, you know, flowy, you know.
Did you have a way that you had to present it, like we did with the Instagram?
No, we
feed?
put on just on YouTube.
All right.
And
okay.
then we send them the links, and then they made a playlist on the tutors, and then we had like a screening in the what is it called? The
Lecture
theater.
theater.
Lecture
Yeah.
theater. So I was like, I was recording that, and we even like got massive like those light reflectors and everything, because we went to one of the guy's house to record in his house, in his kitchen. And then it was kind of we took it like a silly route and kind of made like some sort of mockery. And then when it was time to edit, because the VFX people, they kind of knew how to edit, and I was editing, but like just slightly. And when we got the footages and tried to put them together, it was just it wasn't the thing that we thought on the day of shooting, and on the day of editing I was like, what the hell did we do? Luckily we managed to shoot, we went shooting recording on Friday of the first week, so we were kind of,
you had time then.
we were productive. And then we managed to edit it the following week and upload and everything. So like time wise and like as of like people being on time in that regard, we were successful. But on the actual shooting, like because I was like kind of like OCD and like wanted to have like perfect this and that. But then when I saw what other people did, I was like, fuck it. Like, there were much worse clips, and some were actually even better, nicely put. But I was like, oh well. Like when they started playing the videos and like people started laughing, I was like, oh, like when I started laughing at other people, I was like, oh, this is that good. It's actually making me laugh. And then when it was my video and I saw people laughing, I was like, okay, they approved it, so it's not that bad as much as I made it in my head. So it was alright.
That's good.
But definitely like different approach, and I think 2 weeks, it's plenty of time. But like I was hoping to have like a bit of holiday between the hand-in and the next project, but oh well, it was alright.
That was the uni version of a holiday.
Yeah.
It was like, we're going to give you a break. Here's a 2-week project with a load of people you don't know.
But then some people take that as a literal break and don't show up at all.
Oh, yeah.
Then you're there working your ass off. But there, oh well. You're also, are you the officer or director or president?
Of the Pride Society.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the society officer, yeah.
Officer, is that the right terminology?
It's technically a society officer, but like I run it.
Okay.
That's all I say.
Are you, how long have you been running it for?
This is my first year running it, but
Okay.
I was vice president last year.
Okay.
Which was a mixed experience, because I had a lot that I wanted to do, but the person that was running it wasn't very productive with it.
Okay.
So now I'm like...
Now you're in charge.
Now I'm in charge and I can do what I want.
Yeah. So how does it work, run? Like, I assume that's like one of the older societies at uni?
I think it's been here for a while.
Yeah. I don't know much of the history of societies and student unions.
Well, when I joined, it was called the LGBTQI plus society.
Okay.
Which of course is a
That's
mouthful.
Yeah.
It's a mouthful because because obviously that's like the umbrella acronym that is like used all the time.
Satisfies all the parties.
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah. But like it, like that acronym has got to the point now where it's virtually the entire alphabet, just to like include everyone. So last year, we came up with the idea to instead change the name to Pride Society because it's just easier.
Yeah, it's Pride.
And everyone still knows what it means. But I'm assuming that it's been here for a long time. But honestly don't know that much about the history of it.
Yeah.
I just know about what's going on with it now.
Yeah. So what kind of events that do happen? What are the meetings look like?
Well, we had our first meeting this just gone Monday.
Okay.
And it went really well. It was a little bit of an information dump, and just kind of like a
introductory.
This is like, I wanted to let everyone know, like, these are kind of like my plans for the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it to be clear. It's like, if anyone has any suggestions, then like fire them my way, because that kind of society where it's more of, it's not really a society where people get together to like do an activity like the D&D society,
right.
Or it's not like that. It's more of just like a supportive community.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, this is what I want to do with it, but also if there's anything that you guys want from it, then
it's a two-way thing. You're not dictating.
No.
Yeah.
And so what I'm kind of planning for it, we'll always have like our weekly meetings, which can range from being like themed discussions about like queer topics, or it could be just a chill out session just to like catch up with everyone, or if we're like planning something at the time, then we'll be talking about some logistics, or it kind of changes week to week. But I want to do quite a lot of fundraising with it this year, because there's a lot of local charities in Norwich that are very supportive of LGBT youth. Like LGBT everyone, but more specifically LGBT youth. And because Norwich in general is very much like an accepting city, like generally.
That's the thing I missed. I was back in Serbia, but I only saw like on Instagram and Facebook when the Pride is a festival, or the whole Pride event was going on.
Yeah, Norwich Pride.
Norwich Pride. All right.
Yeah. Norwich Pride was actually really good this year. We're hoping to actually have the society be part of it next year, which is really exciting.
Okay.
Because we weren't able to do it last year, but I'm hoping to be able to do it this year, which would be fun. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But so we'll always have our weekly meetings, and then I'm thinking about like once a term doing something to do with fundraising for whichever organization needs it the most at the time, probably, or whoever I can handle doing it in collaboration with. That's kind of like dependent on the tides at the time. And then I also want to do some themed movie nights as well, because we did one last year, and it was just a bit of fun, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so I want to try and do those at least once a month as well. And then hopefully kind of like try and organize some talks for like next February, because that's LGBT History Month. So hopefully like get some like queer artists in to talk about queerness and all of that stuff. But no, it's really exciting to finally be able to do something with it, because when I was talking about all these ideas during the first meeting, it was really nice to get such a supportive response, and to have a lot of people say that like, this is something that we want to do, this is something that we want to help out with, this is something that we all want to work on together. And it's just nice to get that response, because I've been sitting there the whole summer really worried about coming back and seeing what it was going to be like, because like something like that is so dependent on getting a good response from the people, because like if there isn't one, then it's like there's not much
and plus,
point.
I mean, I can see that you're quite enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like when you're running something like that, I feel like you just have to be, because when I started at NUA, I hadn't really had like something that was equivalent to a Pride Society at like high school or college or anything. So I was really looking forward to it because I thought, oh, you know, I'm coming to a arts university. Hopefully there'll be some gays there. And I was quite disappointed to see the what was then the LGBTQI plus society. It wasn't really a thing. So about halfway through the year, I remember talking to Haley, the
back then president.
Yeah. And she was.
Was she president? No, she's an administrator.
No, she was administrator. It was Xenia who was president at the time. And so I went to talk to Xenia about it, and I was like, this is kind of like really disheartening. And then she because Xenia at the time, obviously she's not president anymore, but she can only, like, whoever the student union president is at the time can only really do so much about something like that, because the president for that society has already been decided, and there's only so much wiggle room. So at the time, I kind of gave the society like a kick up the ass, and tried to, because the person that was running it was actually a second year film student at the time when I was a first year student.
Okay.
So I was able to talk to him and try and say, look, if we help each other out, maybe I can, like, because I wanted there to be a society for the next first years. Yeah. I'd kind of like, maybe I wouldn't get that society, but it would be nice to make sure that the next year of first year students get that society. And then the next year happened, and I was officially the vice president of the society, or like technically the secretary of the society or something. But it's the same thing. And by then I was like trying to get the society up and running, and it was a little bit better. Right. And now I'm like full blown president.
In full swing with all the plans already.
Full swing with all the plans, and with a bunch of people that want to do them with me. So I'm an extremely happy society president.
Nice.
Which is very nice.
I'm here also to help, you know, if you need like any announcements or anything, fun of the fundraising, I could be like, yo! This guy over here. We got them cookies or whatever it's going to be.
Whatever it will be.
Yeah.
Something.
Muffins.
It's for a good cause. They'll taste good, I swear.
I mean, the thing is, like, when I got here, the whole pride thing for me is a bit unknown, because
I suppose the whole concept's probably a bit foreign to you.
Yeah, because I come from Serbia, where first Pride march happened like a few years back. Yeah. And that ended up with hooligans making a damage over like 2 million euros or something. And before I came to Norwich, I lived 9 years in Saudi Arabia, where...
Oh my god.
There you go, you know.
You really didn't know that much about it then.
I mean, like, I knew, but, like, you know, had my own, like, misconceptions or
yeah, of course.
You know, I just didn't know what to expect, what to think about it. I had mutual respect, and I still do. It's just, I don't know anything about it.
No, that's completely understandable.
But, you know, at the end of the day, a human person is a human person. Now, how you're oriented or how you want to label yourself, it's up to them, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm you know, it's kind of my honor to have you as a guest, you know.
Well, no, I've like, because I like you were saying just then about how like at the end of the day, a human person is a human person, and I 100% completely have that mentality with myself, because it's like I don't really think of myself as like a gay person. I just think of myself as like a person that just so happens to be gay, because I think especially when you're making any kind of art, it's kind of like people will, if you, I think this kind of applies to being in any minority, but obviously I can only speak as being a gay person. I I think everyone kind of expects you to make your art only about that. And like, for instance, when I first said my graduation film idea, which has nothing to do with queerness at all, everyone was kind of a little bit surprised that it had nothing to do with queerness, and I was like,
why should it be?
I was like, just because I am doesn't mean that I think about it 24/7, and it doesn't mean that I'm like
no offense, but
like I write about, I very, very rarely write anything that has anything to do with queerness, if I'm honest. It's not out of any like internalized homophobia or like whatever. I'm fully accepting of the fact that I'm very gay, and and it's just kind of like that kind of stuff just doesn't interest me to make anything about, because like my graduation film, like when I write, I like to write films about kind of like numbers, and films about like really like cerebral stuff.
Okay,
and
my attention.
Go on. And I like making for example, my graduation film's going to be set just before the economic crisis of 2008.
All right.
And it's going to be basically set, it's entirely one conversation between two people that work at an investment bank, basically making very important decisions that are very weighted with the audience knowing that the 2008 crisis is about to happen, and it's virtually like a countdown to the crisis through these guys' conversation. And when I said that to everyone, they were like, so they're not gay? And I was like, it's about banking. Let me live.
I think I watched the movie. I think I might have fallen asleep in the middle of it. There is a movie, I think, with Christian Bale in it, when he's
The Big Short.
Yeah, when he's like a drummer playing like Pantera or corpse in the background. Is it like a reference or research?
It's definitely like a research thing for me, because that's like one of my favorite films, to be honest. Okay. I think it's really, really good. And there's another film called Margin Call, which is much more of a reference for me, because I like that neither of those films dumbed down the dialogue at all. They kept it very like as if those people would be talking, and I just find the whole economic crisis, it sounds kind of sick, but I find it so fascinating.
It is.
I think it's really interesting.
The whole scale of economies, and currency, and this and that. I mean, if I understood, I would be doing economics, not art. But it's it's definitely.
I understand enough about it, but that's only from like being interested myself and looking into it myself, because and to be fair, that only started because I was watching films about it, and I think I only watched a film about it because a director that I like, whose name is JC Chandor, the first film that he released was Margin Call, and then when I first watched that, I was like, this is interesting, and it just kind of like snowballed from there, and all of a sudden my graduation film was going to be about it. But yeah, it struck me as so bizarre that as opposed to people thinking about me as a filmmaker, they were thinking about me as a gay filmmaker. And it was like, no, I'm just a filmmaker. That's your private thing. I completely get it when people want to express that side of them through their art, and I think that's completely fantastic as well.
Yeah. It can also be like, I assume, like a confidence boost in a way.
Yeah, I think it can. Yeah. I think it can. I think it can be very fascinating. That extends to like any branch of art. Like it doesn't have to be film. It's like there are queer artists everywhere that are doing fantastic things, but like it's not my style. And like I don't tend to write that much about pretty much anything that has much to do with me, to be honest. I like to keep my thoughts about my films, my thoughts about me very separate. But that's just because I don't feel the need to like talk that much about that side of me in my filmmaking. But it just struck me as very weird that a lot of people that I've told my idea to have just been like, huh, so no dicks. And I'm like, nope. Just numbers. Sorry to disappoint everyone.
Was it like D and then equals 3, or what's the sign for it?
Oh, no, it's the other way around.
Okay.
It's 3 and then equals and then a capital D.
Capital D,
yeah.
I mean, that could be like in the background, on the whiteboard, whilst they're talking, as like a little Easter egg,
I might include that. I feel like that'd be really funny.
Why the hell not? I would like to take 15% of the grade.
Okay. Okay.
No,
that camera has evidence now. I'm screwed.
Well, we didn't shake on anything, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Kidding. Wait, there was something I wanted to say. Regarding like your personal input into the artwork, I feel kind of pretty much the same thing, because I'm into like minimalistic painting and whatnot, and I want the color selection, for example, to be only decided by the chance. So I would like flick a coin or throw a dice, or pick someone else to select the colors for me. So I consider myself more of a vessel rather than having a direct input. I do like at the end of the day pull the brush up and down, but it's not
necessarily your decision.
Yeah. It kind of it kind of surprises me as well for how the outcome is gonna come out, because I kind of focus on chances, spirituality, kind of deeper meaning and cosmos. And, my dissertation is going to be about like spirituality and divine whatever in abstract paintings.
That's cool.
Yeah, but oh well. I just had my tutorial with the contextual tutor, so
I had my first dissertation tutorial today.
As well.
Yeah. And it was actually really funny, because I had to tell her today that I was completely changing my idea that I pitched from last year, and because I wrote my research proposal last year, and it was originally going to be about analyzing the use of sociopathy.
Wait, hold on a second. What was it?
like when someone's a sociopath.
Okay.
So not a psychopath, but like a sociopath. So it's like emotional manipulation and stuff like that. Stuff like that.
Very technical term, yes.
Yeah. I was going to do that being seen as an aspirational quality within straight males, and the kind of representation of sociopaths being seen as attractive white men, basically, because they pretty much always are.
And they're 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, obviously, like the top example, and like examples like have you ever seen the film Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal?
I know the actor, but I might have seen the trailer. Yeah,
it's films like that. Films like American Psycho, which is like obviously like a classic example, and I went from doing something like that, which is obviously very like cookie cutter dissertation material. It's kind of covered ground, but I didn't know what I wanted to write my dissertation on at the time, so I just threw all that into a proposal and hoped for the best. And then I came back and I'd thought about it all summer, and I sat down in my tutorial today, and all my tutor knew was that I was changing it to something, but I hadn't told her what yet. And I sat down, and she at the end of the session, she was like, "Okay, let's just kind of like go around and just like have a catch up, see where everyone is." And I was like, right? And then she got to me and she was like, Bret, didn't you say that you were changing yours? And I was like, oh yeah, I am. And she was like, what are you changing it from? And I said what I was changing it from. And she was like, so what are you doing it on now? And I just looked at her and said, I might want to do it on the Lego movie.
Hold on a second. Okay, I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but all right, yeah. Your point is?
I will probably
5,000 words.
Yeah, easy on the Lego movie. Because I want to do... Because the Lego movie is like one of the smartest films I've ever seen. Okay. It honestly is. And I will like yell about it and recommend it until like the day I die. I will like stand by everyone watch the Lego movie, I swear to God. And basically I want to do it now about the Lego movie and how it deconstructs kind of like cinematic stereotypes and parodies them, because it does it in incredibly smart ways and
like a very subtle okay.
I mean it's like simultaneously subtle, but it's also a complete and utter slap in the face.
Damn.
And it's just a really, really well put together movie, and it's beautifully animated, and just everyone go watch it because it's fucking amazing. I can actually talk about it all day. It's ridiculous. And whenever I was sat next to my friend Damla today in our lesson, and she kept on saying to me, I can't wait for her to actually find out that you're writing your dissertation about the Lego movie. But my tutor said, that's a really good idea. My tutor was so into it, and she started talking about it later, and I was like, see, and everyone can stop shitting on the Lego movie now because the tutor likes it, so everyone leave me alone.
I mean, even if the tutor doesn't like it,
that's true.
It's your like, topic. Yeah. You know? As long as you write it nicely and you have evidence to prove it, that's it. You know?
But I was like, I have to change it. I have to change it to that now as soon as I thought of it, because I was like, if I stuck to my old one, I would have been thinking the entire time, I would have been like, I could be writing about the Lego movie right now.
Well, when you mentioned
when
you mentioned like mockery and stuff like that, I remember Sausage Party.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's also animated, and it kind of takes a piss into current events.
Literally takes the piss.
You know, I don't know. What about the Emoji? I haven't watched the movie.
I haven't seen the Emoji movie, no. Apparently it's better than it has any right to be.
Okay.
But I don't trust that opinion at all. Because it's the Emoji movie. I have to draw the line somewhere. I already like the Lego movie. So I feel like I can't like the Emoji movie as well.
There can only be one.
Yeah. There can only be one love of my life, and it's officially the Lego movie.
There you go. I mean, I guess throughout like my kind of rebellious stage of my teenage years, I wasn't that much of a rebel, but I really liked V for Vendetta, as in the kind of being kind of like foreshadowing for the future, saying.
Oh, as in like a dystopia?
Well, yeah, because like
it's kind of a dystopia.
You know, it's like in the near future, and when you kind of look at the current events that are happening right now, and you compare it to the things that they had said in the movie, which was made like almost a decade ago.
It was like the late 2000s.
Yeah, and then that was based on a novel, which was also ages ago.
Yeah, the novel was like in the 90s or something.
Yeah, so if you think that was like kind of predicted.
It's a graphic novel, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I've never like read it, but like, you know, being so long ago and then seeing that it's actually slowly becoming into it.
Yeah, it actually is. It's kind of tragic.
Yeah, and then like everyone is talking about like 1984. I was like, can we avoid that? You know, like can we just stop? You know, everyone is talking also now about like robots taking over. Well, stop making robots. Like, have that as your little, you know, as your little side project. You can do that in garage. Don't mass produce it. As simple as that. You know, we already have so much.
Stop at the sat nav. Yeah. The sat nav's enough. That's all we need.
Exactly. Like we already have like so much, you know, unemployability in the world and all the numbers and economies crashing.
Yeah.
Why are you gonna put a robot to replace humans? Come on, man. Just stop. You know, talking about like all this nuclear stuff. stop, turn it off,
Yeah.
leave, let it be. World problems solved. Thank you very much. I think that's another thing, without getting too political. One of the how you could solve all the world problems is have them sitting around the table and everyone brings their national food. Because all like family gatherings, whenever there is food and when there is people talking and gatherings, it's much more calmer. No, they wear suits. They're you gotta do this, you gotta do it. Chill.
Everyone can just show up in like joggers and a sweater and just chill out.
Just hey, the thing about Crimea, forget about it.
It's chill now. It's chill.
It's
forget
chill.
about it.
But yeah. Is there any kind of advice you could give to the people who are interested in coming to NUA, or the freshers, or second years, or whoever, kind of like something that you would you would have known when you just came here, or just a general advice?
I think before you come here, if you have some way to learn how to take criticism before coming here, try to.
Alright.
Because I'm not sure what it's like on other courses, but on our course there's very much a group atmosphere, and everyone shows each other everyone's work, and you get a lot of opinions. And 95% of the time those opinions are 100% valid, and you should take them on board. But a lot of the time people will take offense to anyone else's opinions. Sometimes when even if you've said if you're watching someone's film and it's maybe you should try ending it this way, or maybe you should try this with the sound design. It's just suggestions, open group suggestions. But sometimes people can get very, no, I've done it this way because of this, and this. And it's okay. It was just a suggestion. So I think
you're not forced to change.
No. I think that I think it would be very naive to screen your film to anyone and think that everyone's going to think it's great. I think especially if you're going into an industry like film, where literally everyone has an opinion, and everyone will always have an opinion. There are literally jobs about critiquing what we do, just how there are art critics, just how are there restaurant critics, and critiquing people is someone else's job, which is completely fine as well. And so I think get used to that idea quickly, because there are still some people in my year that have no idea how to take criticism, and the only way that they can take it is by taking offense to it, which is just to me it's just it's just a waste of time. And it makes everyone feel the people that screen their stuff now, and the people that we know can't take the critiques, we're just not going to give them any help anymore, because every time you do, they shrug it off and they say that they don't need it.
That's right.
So why would I waste my time trying to help you out and give you ideas? Because I think it's so weird to think that your eyes are the only ones that's going to see what's wrong with your own film. Because there is nothing like a fresh set of eyes on something. And because it's such a detailed thing, and it's such a long process that because you've got other people that are going to read your script and give you stuff on that. You're going to have other people on set that are going to make suggestions, and you're going to have a lot of people saying stuff about your film in post. And I'm a really big fan of saying that a film was made 3 times. It's made in pre-production, production, and post-production. And they can be 3 completely different films. And the film that you started writing like a year ago might be a completely different film by the time it's being released next year.
Yeah.
And I think that is completely fine. And I think as long as it's been a natural process, then I feel like as long as it wasn't forced, then it's probably going to come out being a better film than you went in to make. And that's only going to happen if you let people critique it along the way. Yeah. And I think it's just, it doesn't compute in my head why you wouldn't be open to learning about your own work when you're literally paying to be in a place where you have access to learn about your own work.
Exactly, yeah.
It's completely bizarre to me. So if I was to give anyone advice, I'd say take on critiques. If someone makes a suggestion, try it out, even if it doesn't work, or even if you go into thinking, oh, I don't think this is going to work. But if you try it anyway, you can say to that person, oh yeah, I tried it out, but it kind of didn't work because of this. And chances are that person's going to be like, oh, okay, well, I just thought I'd suggest it. Just talk to each other and just have an open conversation, because all of you want your product to be the best it can be. Like, it's not a competition. We're in university.
Yeah.
So
once you leave the university.
Oh yeah, once you leave the university, it's death to everyone else.
Yeah.
But I think it's completely bizarre that people don't know how to take criticism on their work. Yeah. But I think that can be kind of said for pretty much any course here. Obviously, I don't know how big a role kind of like group crits play on other courses, but for ours it's like huge. And we have them like in post-production, we have them like twice a week, because so much can happen in that amount of time. So yeah, that's kind of like the main thing I'd say.
Yeah. Well, now that you also mentioned about like when we leave the university, I guess it's always like a bit too early to ask, but like, do you have any idea what you have in mind? Do you wanna? You said you wanna go towards producing. Yeah, I think. Is there like some big company houses, production houses? There are an awful lot of different companies. How does the whole industry look like? Oof. I mean, no. That's like, I don't know how it looks like. Could you direct me how I'm like planning to make my way? What's your strategy? I mean, to be fair, it is a strategy, because like it's such like a vicious industry sometimes, and I mean, much like any creative industry, but I know that I want to go into producing, and I think the one way that I'm actually going to do that is going somewhere, and I'm probably going to end up moving to Cardiff, I think. Because Cardiff is like next to the sea, chill. Yeah. Some sheep. Yeah. Some sheep. And it's a good city for media companies in general. Okay. Because really my job as a producer can be applied to quite a lot of different things. Okay. And obviously I want to produce for film, but if I wanted to kind of like build up my name a bit, I could also produce for, I don't know, advertisements maybe. Yeah, like adverts are actually like a major way that like if you're an independent filmmaker, then doing kind of like commercials and advertisements are a really good way of, I hate this phrase, but pay the bills. Yeah. And so like if you were working on your passion project for like your first big feature film for like, and you're like, I want to do this for the next few years, but I need to do this and this to fund it, which is probably what the majority of people are going to do when they leave university. Yeah. And to be fair, that's completely fine as well. Like, I think it's in pretty much in all courses, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. Because like, if you're a photographer, for example, you need to do like stock photography in order to build your portfolio.
Yeah, exactly, and like
this, yeah.
wedding photography.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's very similar to film.
Yeah, I think for myself would be more. It's like, I don't know, do a little like realistic. Just thinking of myself doing realistic drawings. Like, God. But yeah, it kind of doesn't have any rules when you think about it. Just like you have to be in the right place in the right time.
Yeah, you really do.
Have of luck.
Yeah, no, it is true. And
but I do believe like the Ideas Factory here kind of does prep you, and the certificate, the diploma at the end we get is quite strong.
It is.
Yeah. I'm not like showing off, other UK universities, just saying, we're specialists. And
Is that meant to be an N?
Like this for you.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me. Because I was just looking at it and I was like,
no, because
that's not ninja
this
stuff.
is N to you, but to me it's Cyrillic I. Yeah. In Serbia we use Cyrillic and Latin alphabet.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah.
Is that the stuff that just kind of looks like sticks?
Well, hold on a second.
It looks like trees. Kind of.
It depends which
like
letter.
Drawings of trees.
But this is my Serbian ID card. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So that's my last name Karamaršić, and that's my first name Filip.
It really looks completely different.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And that's me before dreads and with long hair and no beard.
R.I.P. dreads.
Yeah. They shall be missed. I do like, what's the word? Regret. But they had to go. My scalp was like getting tired. Not tired, but like because I got psoriasis. It's come genetically from my mom.
Oh,
and
God.
then the dandruff and then maintenance and everything. I was like, oh well. But I do like feel not massive, but I did feel like a subtle personality change. Like,
really?
yeah, it's like I can't listen to reggae music the same way before. It's like, but oh well, I'm kind of going off topic. This is the thing about you, not me. But hey, leave comments down below. Stuff. I'm trying to be a YouTuber now. Leave a like.
Subscribe. See you next week. Bye.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, YouTube. That's I think YouTube as a platform has changed a lot. How we look at information.
Yeah.
That's like one of the motivations.
I find YouTube fascinating. That as like a culture and as a platform.
Yeah.
I think that, to be fair, I think that's a conversation in itself. And it's one that I could talk about like for ages.
Yeah.
Because it's so fascinating.
Well, for the next episode.
Yeah.
Well,
catch me here again chatting shit about YouTube.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's why like, because I'm a Virgo as my zodiac sign, and also my work is like about zodiac signs and constellations.
Oh, yeah.
I had like last year I had a few exhibitions about it, and one of the traits for Virgos is like a deep conversations.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the most comfortable thing, fair enough, like chat, like, hey, how are you, good weather, yeah, good, bye. It's like, sure, but like now that you set it down and you actually get to be like, one-on-one, well, if we have guests, then it'll be 2-on-1. Yeah. But it's something, you can take out of it, something productive, something informative. Now I know that I should go watch a Lego movie. I would have never
watch the Lego movie.
Emphasis on Lego. So yeah, I think. I mean, I'm enjoying this. Hopefully, you are.
Oh no, absolutely. I love sitting down and having a good old natter about this kind of stuff, and I have no idea if it has anything to do with my sign because I was just trying to remember what mine is.
I did a questionnaire. I can send you a link.
My birthday is January the 2nd.
Oh.
So I think I'm a Capricorn.
Yes. Yeah. Because my girlfriend.
I think that just means I'm a bit of a prick, doesn't it? Or like I'm stubborn or something. I don't know anything about it.
I think you're like very focused on something. Well, that would be kind of because Capricorns are the one with the arrow and.
Yeah, it's like a goat man thing, I think.
Oh, no, Sagittarius is the one who shoots. Yeah.
Yeah, I know mine's something to do with a goat.
Yeah.
Something with horns.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Like, I'm pretty much like all the horny signs are like hardworking and stubborn in a way. I'm not sure.
I'm fine with that. I'm not too offended.
I think I'm just overgeneralizing because there's loads and loads of things like your ascendant, your lunar, your solar.
Oh.
There's all this other thing, and then your astronomical number, like what the date and that time and the hour and everything plays a big role. How?
Oh my god.
Yeah. And
that's fascinating.
Yeah, and that's why like I focused my work last year and still do. You know, for this year. I mean, it just started, but I did like a questionnaire last year about like a few questions, you know, not going too deep because again there's so many aspects around it, but like kind of yes, maybe, no kind of answers, and after like a week or so, you know, I got results back. Well, I mean, they're still online. You can still fill it in if you want, but when I sat down and measured, like, you know, got all the numbers, you know, and because, you know, I like numbers as well. It was 75.15% true for overall astrology.
That's fascinating.
So it's like 3/4. So like that 1/4 is like the doubt and what could be if you went further and how to analyze that shit.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's like who came up with that kind of stuff, you know, like. You look into the stars and you see Mars. It's like, oh, Mars is going to be a male planet or something. And then is it Venus that's female?
Yeah, I think Venus is the only female one, isn't she?
I don't know. It's like, why give genders to planets, you know?
Yeah, that they're also just floating things of rock.
Yeah, it just, you know, a rock going around.
I think it's because people used to, like really a long time ago, like Romans and stuff.
Yeah, it's
used to like associate it with
gods and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it originates in like ancient Egypt or Greece or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not sure.
It sounds like the sort of thing that they come up with.
But and then, you know, because it kind of is true. Like, for example, like, and like it's surprising how sometimes it can be true. Because like, for example, my mom is a double Leo. And Leos are like, so, you know, their way or nothing, you know. And I don't know, it's just like interesting. I'm not like obsessed about it. It's like I'm not that type of person who like, oh, are you a Gemini? Like, I can't, you know. For example, like Virgo is an earth sign, Aquarius is an air sign, even though it's contradictory. So my girlfriend is an Aquarius, and technically, like, air dries earth, so we shouldn't be like together.
All right.
But we are 4 years together in long distance relationship. You know, she's in Serbia, I'm here, and like we make it work. Of course, like God forbid, you know, you never know what tomorrow brings. But so far we are all right. So there's no. Yeah, but then I'm a Scorpio and she's a Leo, so it kind of the other two elements. So it kind of works together. I don't know, but
it is fascinating because I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
All I know is that my one's got horns and it's a goat. Or it's like a goat cross with something. Yeah. It's like a goat horse, something. Or it might just be a goat.
Just a goat.
I think it's just a goat.
Okay. I don't know. But then I think if you go online and like there's like calculator for your ascendant star.
Yeah.
So if you know what time you were born and what place, they can measure, or does it automatically for you, measures your other stuff.
Yeah.
Your other thing. Oh, well.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yes, I'm going to go home and Google everything.
But yeah, is there anything else you would like to say, mention?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
We have been chatting for a long time.
Well, yeah. plus a bit of editing here and there. All the intro takes. It'll be alright.
Choose one of the 6 intros that you
Yeah.
did.
Well, Ali, on that note, wait, how does Jeremy Clarkson say that? At the end of Top Gear.
I can't remember. Because he hasn't been on it in like 3 years or something.
Yeah. But,
R.I.P. Top Gear.
Yeah. Well,
I know it's still
Grand
going, but-
Tour isn't bad. I watched it on Amazon.
I haven't seen any of it because I don't have the Amazon thing.
It's pretty much like the same thing, it's just they kind of changed the names for the legal actions.
Yeah.
That's it. But, oh well. Thank you so much.
No problem.
If there's any links, Instagram, website, accounts, I can link all that
Yeah.
in the description down below. So check that out. The previous episode will be somewhere here.
There.
The next episode. Subscribe, like, comment what English. What you would like to see next? Ask some questions and stuff like that. And yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good outro or something.
Howdy.
Cool.
A solid 6 out of 10 outro.
It's a pass. It's over 40%. You're good. Cool. And cut.